everybody, it's me, Azealia, with WayCrunchy.com, on my YouTube channel, WayCrunchy, and you can follow me on Instagram, WayCrunchy. So, like a year ago, or in the genesis of WayCrunchy, I did one of my most popular videos, which was on attachment parenting, which is a key element of everything I've got going on in my life, because it is my life. So, I have two beautiful babies. One has just turned 3, and one is literally going to turn 5 on Saturday. So a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. Now, when I first got into attachment parenting, my child was in my womb. Yes, and you hear so much about attachment parenting and so much from attachment parentings in the infant and toddler years. Now, I'm coming out of that full-blown preschool, kindergarten type situation happening here. So I'm gonna go back over the elements of attachment parenting that I first touched on that are so crucial for those newborn, baby, toddler phases, but that you don't hear so much about once parents' children have aged. Now, that does not mean they're not still attachment parents. There's so many attachment parents of older children that you're not as aware of, because it doesn't go against certain cultural norms that exist, not with everyone, but with a lot of people. So it's less noticeable when there is an attachment parent of an older child, which my children are now older. I cannot believe it. It's wild. I can't believe I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. That's just like, who am I? But so a big element of attachment parenting is breastfeeding. Okay, and another big element of attachment parenting, and not to say that to be an attachment parent you have to do all of these, but you're inspired by these concepts, these general concepts. But some people are a little more militant. I was a little more militant. So breastfeeding, and then literally not leaving your child. Your child stays with you. And next to that, your child stays with another adult to care for them that they have established an attachment with before you leave them with that person. So you can be attached not only to your mother, who you are in this practice most supremely attached to because you grew inside their belly. There is a large emphasis on the fact that we literally were attached physically. So when I have these babies and people want to watch my babies and they think they're doing me a little favor, I'm like, no, thank you. A big example a lot of people go through is babies or children going into a nursery at church instead of staying with the parents for a ceremony, like, with the rest of the congregation. That's an example. Other than people wanting to watch or babysit your children, no, that doesn't give me a break. That stresses me out. My baby's gonna be breastfeeding from my nipples that live on my body, and so my baby's gonna be near my body. Also, with newborns, you're holding your baby or wearing your baby. There's a concept of 4th trimester. 3 trimesters, your baby is born, you deliver, then you have a 4th trimester where the child is essentially attached to you. Well, guess what? The breastfeeding and the constantly with you. At this point, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they have their own personalities. You go by your own kid's personality, but they have developed independence. They are weaned, and they go out without mom. This is what it's looking like to attachment parent older children. So my son, for example, does a half day from 9 to 1:30 of preschool. Now, this isn't really, in my case, for educational reasons. It's so that I have a little bit of a break, because it's a little bit hard to have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, although so many women rock it, but I was a little stressed out, and I had this opportunity, and he was excited about it. He chose to do it. He wanted to do it. If he would have said no, I would have said, okay, you don't have to. You can stay with mama if that's what you need to do. Because he's very verbal and he can talk things out like that with me. So this is what attachment parenting is looking like with an older child. Am I going to send him out for a whole day even if he asks for it? No, that's kind of my call, but I'm giving him an option of a half day. Here comes my other little attachment bean right now. Baby Zizi, you want to come over here? You want to say hi? Say hi. Hi. This little bean is 3 years old and she stays home with mama. But she goes to her grandparents' house all by her little self. She's hung out with close friends all by her little self. And how attachment parenting, that's okay. How attachment parenting has evolved for us is that mama is not home 100% of the time. I go to yoga class and they stay with dada or their grandparents. And I teach 2 yoga classes a week. What do you want, my baby doll? Here's a magazine. So that's an evolution. The children are 110% comfortable and look forward to going and seeing those adults that they are extremely attached to. Great. And so Tom has the half day of preschool. He feels fantastic about it. It was actually like a little strange how comfortable he was with it on the first day of preschool. And I think one of the reasons it appears strange is because attachment parenting is not the norm in our society. And the ultimate #1 goal of attachment parenting is to raise more secure in themselves, independent little humans. And my secure, independent little human was ready, and he claimed it, allowing them to claim their own independence. And even at 3 and 5, they're claiming that independence. So that's a little bit, so we've weaned. So we don't have to talk about breastfeeding, even though we're still an attachment family. They're not constantly with me, even though we're an attachment family. Another element is baby wearing. I still wear Z. When you have an older child, baby wearing or child wearing is a little more comfortable with back carries, I find. Your body is more suited to carry their weight in that way. She is still home with me. So baby wearing is still there. And Tom, my older child, he's 5 years old. If he wants mama to pick him up, I'm going to pick him up and hold him and carry him and hug him and love him. And it happens less and less once they even get 5 years old because they're claiming all that independence. So yes, baby. You want me to hold you? Absolutely. You want me to hug you? Absolutely. So we have touched on the breastfeeding, staying together, baby wearing. Let's look at gentle parenting. That's huge. Redirection. Just the gentle discipline. Basically, don't, you got jelly in your hair, see? Okay, so gentle parenting, that's just as awake, but that's a standalone concept away from attachment parenting. So, that doesn't really fall in so much as I'm looking at what attachment parenting is like for the mother of older children. Now, let's look at another element of attachment parenting, which is bed sharing. Do my children sleep in their own beds now? Yes, they do. Does Zizi sometimes wake up in the middle of the night crying? Yes, she does. And is she allowed to crawl into the bed and go to sleep? Yes, she is. So that's a way bed sharing has evolved. Now, some attachment families will bed share well past the point we're at. Like I say, it's a little bit different for every family, but this is what it looks for our family, attachment parenting, older children. So yeah, she's allowed back in the bed, but she has her own bed she sleeps in. But if she chooses to walk down that hallway, there she is, and she's always been in a Montessori bed. This child's never been in a crib. So she has always had the freedom, once she had mobility, to come out or in to her bed, which I highly recommend. That's not really a part of attachment parenting, but I find it goes with attachment parenting great. Montessori bed for babies. Look it up. So, you know, I'm a silly mama. I'm a hippie, crunchy mama, and cribs are prisons. You want cribs are little baby prisons, but that's okay. It also keeps them safe. Prisons kind of, in theory, should keep their occupants safe. In theory. Anyway, I digress. Let's not get political. Zizi, you can't press the button. Here, hold that. Help Mama hold that. Tom, he sometimes, especially if my husband is working late or something, we just cuddle up in my big bed and maybe watch a show or something. So we still have, you know, not bed sharing, but bed sharing is a closeness, and we still experience that closeness on a very regular basis of just crawling in the bed and watching a show and snuggle and cuddle. So let's see. The last element of attachment parenting I'm going to touch on is homeschooling. So Tom is doing a half day of preschool, but we still actively are working on keeping what I would consider a good homeschool unschooling, which that, for everyone who's followed us from Montessori to Waldorf inspired, we are now just at unschooling. That's what works for us. Finding your path through homeschool can be such a journey, and I'm sure we're not done with our journey, you know, but you got to mold and roll with your children and your family's individual needs, okay? So yeah, we're going to be homeschooling, attachment parenting at an older age. That's what that looks like. So that's attachment parenting older children. They're in their own beds. They're not breastfeeding. They're allowed back in my bed. They're allowed to be close and snuggly with mama. I still wear ZZ. Gentle discipline. And they get to go out with when they are comfortable. I do not force them out. For example, in the half day of preschool, there was a field trip, and I have personally delivered Tom and gone with him on every single field trip. And he told me he would be comfortable going on a field trip. There are other parents driving. He would be comfortable with me not going if his personal teacher, who he's extremely close with, family friend as well, was in the car with him. He said, and we have a communication established, he said he did not want to be in a car with another mommy and children if me or his teacher was not with him. 100%, 110%, I respect those feelings that he expressed without crying, without whining. He talked, he opened his mouth, he articulated his feelings clearly, and I have nothing but respect for that. And if that could not have been accommodated, then I would have personally driven him. And that, everyone, is a look inside attachment parenting preschoolers and older children. It's not as in your face because sometimes mama can go do things without her babies, and Lord knows I'm not in everyone's face breastfeeding 24 hours a day. And that's us. We're still an attachment parenting family, but it's less in your face once the kids get older. And I'm sure you know a lot more attachment parents. Actually, I'm not sure. If you're looking it up on the internet, maybe it's because you don't have a strong community of attachment parents that you can commiserate with. I love y'all. We are part of the universal community of attachment parenters, but also the universal community of living beings. Love you guys. Any questions, comments, leave them below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel because this is what I do, internet stuff. Anything else to say, Z? You say bye?
Bye.